You're listening to the Tony Conley Morning Show on 1320 WILS, 1320WILS.com. For many years, especially from our next guest, Dr. Gerald Edelman, we've learned that fat is bad for us, but something could be worse for us than that, and we're learning more and more as more studies come out. Let's talk with Dr. Gerald Edelman, who's at 1320 WILS and Fox News Radio medical expert. He's an oncologist and the author of Sugar Rehab, which details the nation's addiction to hidden sugar. Dr. Edelman, how are you?
Hey, good morning, and thanks for having me on, Tony.
All right, tell us about this new report, and it's titled White Poison, Sugar is as Addictive as Cocaine. That's stunning.
Yeah, it is stunning. There's two pieces of evidence for that, that are real valid. Number one, if you give rats cocaine and you give them sugar and you do PET imaging, which is a type of radiology test to look at the activity in the brain, the same areas of the brain light up. The second piece of evidence is there's a neurotransmitter called dopamine. That's a feel-good neurotransmitter, and levels of dopamine go up when you eat sugar the same as they go up with cocaine. And the reason why that is such a bad thing, we think of addiction automatically as being bad, but just the health consequences of sugar are obesity, cardiovascular disease, and cancer, to name a few. So it's a very serious topic. And, that book, Sugar Rehab, that I've written, I try to give you some guidelines as to how to avoid the sugar addiction and avoid the health consequences of eating too much sugar.
Of the 600,000 items on the average American grocery store, 77% are spiked with added sugar. Now, according to data from the U.S. in 2008, people are consuming more than 60 pounds of added sugar per year, and this doesn't even include the fruit juices. And in 2008, the average intake was 76.7 grams per day, which equals 19 teaspoons of sugar, or 306 calories. That's crazy.
Yeah, it blows you away. And so I discovered this some time ago, and I have a rule that I give in my book that when you go to the grocery store, look at the label. If you don't have a salt restriction or any other nutritional restriction your doctor's put on you, just look at sugars per serving. That's the rule that navigates you through all this. If you don't buy anything that has more than 2 grams of sugar per serving in it, you don't have to think beyond that. That will automatically wean you off your sugar addiction, and it will prevent all the negative effects of sugar spikes that you get. How much is that? 2 grams is a half a sugar cube. So a full sugar cube is 4 grams. And this seems hard right away, but that's the only concept your listeners need to get to avoid what you're talking about. Don't total up the amount of sugar you eat during the day. Don't make this complicated. Just look at the label, no more than 2 grams of sugar per serving on anything that you consume.
We've been talking with Dr. Gerald Edelman, who's a 1320 WILS and Fox News Radio medical expert, and you're listening to the Tony Conley Morning Show on 1320 WILS.